you're an average gym bro and you've been following bodybuilding for some time, like a year, two, maybe even 3 years, and you're starting to think maybe I want to step on the bodybuilding stage. You decide you want to try this sport, you decide you want to step on stage to see how you look among the other people who give 100% in this sport, and you also expect yourself to do the same. So, what's in it for you? What can you expect? What is there to be careful about? Um, those are the things that not many people talk about. I guess everybody wants to talk about how they are executing the things. So, what's the diet? What are they eating? What are they taking? How are they training? And basically, a lot of people forget that you have to be in a mentally correct state to do this. There are many reasons for this because there are a lot of people who aspire to step on stage and look their best, but as a coach, I've been coaching people since 2017 and we have some experience about this. And we can say one thing, that a lot of people who start contest prep, who start with their goal to get on stage, actually fail to do so. The problem is in here, because many are not prepared what's to come. Even if we tell them that the diet is going to be hard, you have to have a routine, you have to have a very good structured lifestyle that you can actually follow and not do 100 other things that are on your mind all the day, because a lot of people forget where their focus should be. All in all, bodybuilding is fairly simple. All you have to do is eat your meals, do your training, do your cardio, and take your supplements or performance enhancing drugs. So that's 5 things to do. Oh, I forgot one. You have to sleep. So 6 things, very important things. You have to nail these 6 things for, I won't say for 3 or 4 months, because a contest prep does not start 12 weeks out or 15 weeks out. Usually a contest prep starts like 20, 25 weeks out, possibly a year before you actually, when you actually decide that you're going to compete next year. And then you start planning every action towards that goal. So all of your actions from start to finish are for this goal, that you're going to step on stage, compete in this show or another show or more shows in one season. So what I try to say is that it's very important to understand that you will have to be really, really, really consistent. And people just fail to do so because they get distracted. They have other responsibilities, they have a lot going on, they have kids, they have animals, they have pets, they have many things that are on their priority before this goal, which is obvious. I mean, if you have children, they should be your priority, but you must understand that when you're going to compete, other people will be there with their 100%, and a lot of times it can happen that they will not care about the things you do. So you cannot expect that everyone else will have the same priorities as you, because there will be someone who will put more of their time, more of their money, more of their effort into the contest prep that you do. And this is why you have to understand that when you're going to something like this, it's important that you actually follow through and understand that you will have to put other things aside. And usually it's only those 6 things to do, but you have to be extremely organized to do these 6 things right. you will have to go to bed early. You will have to find training and prioritize it over going to your mother-in-law's lunch, going to a friend's party, um, I mean, going to a concert. You will have to prioritize training and eating before every other fun and normal social interaction, so that you can actually do this properly. Why am I telling you this? Because, like I said before, I've seen a lot of people wanting to compete. They get very inspired by the competitors they see on the stage, and basically they say, yeah, next year I will do it. And then they usually hire a coach. Many times they even hire a coach that is not competent enough to tell them this. Usually they start with a coach that is either a coach that doesn't care and it's just like a robot. Okay, I'll give you the plan, I'll give you the macros or the meal plan, I'll give you the plan for the gear, and then they start basically executing the plan. So that's all they basically do. And this is, if the coach does not actually take care and actually speak to you and explain you how the process works and what are the downsides and where you can actually come into trouble with your mind, then it will be very, very, very hard for you to follow the plan through the contest prep. So my answer is, be careful what you wish for, because it can be very hard and very taxing, and it happens a lot that a lot of people lose their friends, lose their partners, their social life basically goes to shit, because they cannot balance their mind so they can stay like relatively calm, even despite they are very, very hungry or exhausted. And that's why they said people who are very hungry are usually the ones who are very emotional and irritated. So that's pretty much a normal thing in prep. So yeah, be very careful what you're doing, and it can really, really set you off in a very bad way. But yeah, first things first, if we are going to list the things that you actually need to do a proper contest prep, is, if you haven't done a proper cut yourself, you should always hire or find someone who has already done it with someone else. And possibly do not go to a coach and say, I want to be ready in 3 months, because that's not a very good plan. A good plan, a really good plan, is go to a coach if you haven't competed before and say, I want to compete once when I'm ready. So when you're ready, your coach will let you know. It does not mean he will push you and get you to shape and then say, okay, next week you will go to a bodybuilding contest. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, he's going to do an bulking season with you. He's going to perform one cutting season with you, so he can see where your body fat and everything falls. Then he will start an off season again, or bulking season, let's say, and get fine-tuned into the prep. So you basically, he will try to find out how your body works. He will take time so he can actually assess how you respond to certain things. Also, if you're natural or enhanced, this also plays a big role, because if you want to go compete enhanced, then, and you have never taken anything in terms of PEDs, he will probably want to test how you respond to them. So too short time span will not work. So you need more time than you think you do. That's the first thing. Find a coach, give him enough time to learn you, to study your reactions anyway. Second important thing, structure your life. if you're going to work with a coach, if you want to do this yourself, you will have to track everything. If you have a tracked diet, or you wrote down your meal plan, or you were given a meal plan by a coach, you have this. But you also have to track other things, like how you're sleeping, what are your activity levels, what else is going on in your life, so that may interfere with the process of the contest prep. You will have to make an effort to properly report to your coach what's going on. Some coaches want only your weight, your morning weight, and your pictures, and that's everything. But a lot of times it's not just that. It's a lot more, because a lot of times there can be things that are happening and that happen, and they drastically interfere with the process of the prep. And if the coach does not know those things, or ignores those things, you may not progress for a week or two, or maybe even 3 weeks, and you're doing everything by the plan, and your coach will tell you, well, you're not following the plan, even if you're following it 100%, and a lot of other things are not really properly executed, like you're overtrained, you don't sleep enough, you have trouble sleeping and actually cannot sleep. All those things are very important, like you have digestive issues. Those are the things that you need to track and be really careful about. So yeah, and also activity levels. If you're too active or underactive, it can determine how your prep is going to progress over time. So yeah, this is the second thing. And the third thing is understand how far you're willing to push, because you need to understand, going on stage for the first time does not mean you need to do and that you must do the things that the top pro Olympians are doing. You can only get so far, because even if you start taking PEDs, even if you have the best coach, it will take time, and you will need that time so you can actually progress. Progression comes over time. It does not happen in 1 minute, or in 1 month or 1 hour. It happens over the years, and if you have proper genetics, you will know, because your responses will be very, very good and very fast. But still, you will have to work for it. It will take time. Like, I've heard it many times, like Nick Walker needed, like, I think 8 years or something like that to put on 100 pounds of muscle. That's 45 kilos in 8 years. If you divide that, if you divide 45 by 8, you see that's 5 and a little something, 5.5 kilos. That's still a lot of muscle, but it took time. Maybe he progressed more in the beginning, like 10 kilos of muscle first year, 10 kilos next year, 8 kilos a year after that, 5 kilos a year after that, and then it slowed down. But still, it took him a long time, and usually it takes a decade to become really, really good at this. And usually a decade is like barely stretching your legs so you can start at the level that you actually belong, and then you can move rank by rank there slowly and gain momentum with competing a lot of times and actually getting new experience and learning from the competing process. So yeah, it takes time. So this is very, very important to understand, because a lot of people rush things. They want to be in 100% shape and have the biggest possible muscularity in their first show. And the drugs will not do that. And if you think they do, you are going to a very bad spot very fast. You will run into some health issues because you will overdo the PEDs. You will do extreme protocols, which can really, really lead to bad health situations. So My suggestion is listen to someone who knows what he's doing and do not doubt that decision. Also, make a really good informed decision. Who are you listening to? And please do not overcomplicate things, because in the last few years, uh, sorry, but when I started, like I started 12 years ago, the trend was that we actually didn't know much. The internet was not such an open space like it is today. You could not find a lot of PED and steroid information, if I may say it like this. You could not find a lot of information like it is today on YouTube, on Instagram. Basically, everybody posts their either cycles, diet, training, everything. They all give opinions on everything. Back in the day, all you had was forums and boards, and you actually had to read through them. You had to take time, you had to go through all the posts, and there were no educational sites like JT3 University or something like that. You basically had to figure it out yourself if you wanted to be a coach or if you wanted to understand what goes into such a sport. So it changed a lot, but I think that today there are a lot of information and you can get very confused. And also it is very hard to distinguish which information is good and bad, because you see some people are overcomplicating things, are really trying to portray that something has to be very tracked and assessed every minute of the day, what you're doing, how you're doing it, and optimize it somehow. And a lot of times it only goes in a way that you have to train with high intensity. You need to train intense, that's the basics. You need to eat right, and you need to take the right supplements or add the supplements when you're that far into the game. And you don't need anything else. You need to sleep well, that's also a necessity, but everything else comes over the years down the line when you're so advanced that you can actually dedicate your whole life every day, all day, just to this sport, and you basically live for this. But a lot of people cannot do this. Normal people like us, we have daily jobs, we have other responsibilities that we have to take care of. You have an apartment, you have a house, you need to cook food, you need to lawn the grass, you need to do a lot of things that are not in scope of your sport or hobby. So overcomplicating things, tracking every single bit of information you can pick up is sometimes excessive. So do the basics right and do them for a long time. Do them for many years until you come to a point that you see they no longer provide extra benefit, and then you can start adding on that. Before, you're only limiting yourself, because if bodybuilding and this sport will not be your only thing in life, it can really set you off, like spending all your time, energy, money, everything into one thing that you don't even know if you're going to do after 3 years, or you're not sure if you're going to actually stay in this sport, because you have never competed, you have never achieved some serious level of muscularity, you have never actually shown some solid progress. So putting everything in this may be too much, and that's why you have to be careful. And first, do the basics right, see how far you get with the basics. They do work, they work for a long time. And if you see Ronnie Coleman on the videos, if you see Jay Cutler, if you see Marcus Rule, Kevin Levroni, everybody is strong, and all of them perform heavy basic lifts. Not some weird kind of flexion and extension and stupid things with the cables and elastic bands, but they're actually doing some serious weights with the basic equipment. So dumbbells, barbells, some simple machines, squats, deadlifts, bench press, shoulder press. Those are the basics. They work. They have worked for 50, 60, 70 years. They still work now. And you will not believe how far you can get with them. Ronnie Coleman trained like that all the time. He barely did some flies. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So the basics are the first and focus on them. Then later, when you progress so far that you actually can see that you can compete at a high amateur level or even get to the pro level, start complicating. Then you have the time and the space to complicate things if you want to continue going forward. But by then you will actually know where and how you can actually use the tools that are extra so you can achieve that. Not in the beginning. So yeah, this is what I wanted to tell with this video. Maybe it was a little bit long, but hey, I tried to explain what it takes to get from an average gym bro to get yourself to compete. There are a lot of more things which I want to talk about in the future videos, like post-contest blues, peak week protocols, or what's the easiest, smartest, or not easiest but smartest, but the most logical way to actually attempt a peak week, and some of my best practices. I'm speaking only from my experience. I'm not telling you what to do. I only want to share what I did with my clients and what my wife did with our clients. So I only share experience. And if you find it valuable, if you find it useful, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and you can visit us at fs-team.com, and you can send a message if you want to know more. So thank you. Bye bye.